special. All my guests tonight are military serving personnel, and I just thought it would be good to have a bit of an introduction, speak to a few of the faces what will be there on Saturday for our Remembrance Day. In case you don't know, we have got quite a large number this year of serving military personnel. A lot of Millwall fans serving in the army. We have Bomber and his normal Navy crew, and all the gunners there from HMS Collingwood. This year we are joined by a different part of the Navy, which we're going to in a little while. I'll introduce you to who's online in a sec, and then we're going to detail about why they are involved this year. So without further ado, I will bring in our first guest, which is Jake. I can't remember what your rank is. It's captain, isn't it?
No, captain.
No, corporal. Corporal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't insult me like that. How dare
you? Jake is your bugler for Saturday, and Jake loves to have a blow, don't you, Jake?
We decide how you want to take that, mate. But
I'm not taking it, so don't panic there. I'm just glad you're not in the Navy, mate. Or else that could have gone.
Whoa.
And then from the Navy we have Midjaw, but not the Midjaw. This is another Midjaw from the Submariners half of the Navy. Is it half or section of the
Navy?
Small half of the Navy. So Jake's a bugler. I suppose really we'll talk about Millwall in a minute, Jake, just so that Midge doesn't feel left out. Midge, you're Submariner. We've not ever had Submariners at our Remembrance Day. We've had the Gunners. You're invited because we invited you, but why are you up in London around this weekend, and why come to Millwall, really?
Okay, I'll start with the easy one. Why are we in London? We're in London. Historically, I think everybody's aware that Remembrance Day falls on the second weekend in November. This year, I think it's on the 14th of November, Sunday the 14th. We, as Submariners, we're a bit special. We like to think of ourselves as a bit special, and we celebrate the week before. We come up as a Memorial Weekend so we can enjoy it on our own, and we go to Westminster and we have the run of the place for the weekend. So it's grown over the years, especially from Sultan. We used to bring one or two up. It was never a big thing. It's grown over the last probably 10, 15 years. We now bring up, from Sultan, we'll bring up 50 students and trainees this weekend for the weekend. That's probably that's a bit the reduced numbers from maybe 2 years ago when obviously COVID kicked in. There will be approximately 1,500 Submariners on a good weekend or on a good year up in London to celebrate the remembrance, our remembrance. We have a statue to the submarine service in the west cloisters of Westminster Abbey, which we go and we congregate at. We lay wreaths, we sing, and we jump about, and we mostly get pissed for the weekend. So it's grown from being a sort of a remembrance service on the Sunday to being a full weekend. So I'll be bringing 54 Submariners, male and female, to London this weekend. And what I've tried to do is one of the organisers. What we've tried to do is make it a bit more interesting for people coming up, so we don't just do the same thing every year after year. And we started tapping up the football clubs. We started getting involved with. We've been to over the years. We've been to West Ham.
Vermin.
We've had some people go to Chelsea. We've asked various other clubs. And this year we took a look. We saw who was playing at home. I thought Millwall, a good British club, give them a shout. And to be fair, I think it was Melanie. Within 25 minutes, I think, of me emailing her and leaving a message on the phone, she was straight back. Yeah. And it just showed how eager they were to have us. So we offered ourselves up and offered to bring 6. I think I must have mentioned young Submariners at some point, and I think she's advertised it as 6 young. We're not that young.
I got copied into the email, and it was like there's 6 young submariners. So we were thinking that, oh, they're newbies and they're coming up. And then it was like conversation with you. It's like, yeah, they're not that young. They are submariners, but they're not that young. And we're like, right, okay. So we've got, I think, 6 or 7 of you guys joining us. Because it was fairly short notice in coming in, and obviously we didn't really have time to plan it and everything, because it was still touch and go for a lot of this year whether or not we were actually going to go ahead with it. So I think first we have to say massive respect to Billy Taylor and the club, because they leave it to me and Mel. Mel and me organise this. We have done for a good few years now. And I take care of the Army and Navy and the Armed Forces side of it, and arrange the pitch stuff and getting the soldiers here and everything else. I do the pitch side of the stuff, and Melanie does all the collection. Melanie will probably kick me in the nuts for saying this, but I tell you, there is not many fans in this club what work harder for charities behind the scenes than she does. And you know what? If I get a kick in the nuts over it, I don't care. She's an absolute star. She's brilliant for what she does behind the scenes for charities and stuff, through various channels and a forum and stuff, and does stuff for charities is second to none. And the way she controls grown big guys are surprising. You know, she's one of those people you just can't say no to, so you have to just say yeah.
She's not gentle about it. Usually she just throws my lad to bucket and go, off you go. So
yeah. So on Saturday, just for you, Midge, I'll run through. On Saturday, what we do is, for the first part of the day, you'll get there, and basically me and the guy I do the show with, Omar, we will be basically getting you around the club. So we will get you into the exec lounge where you'll meet the fans. No doubt they'll probably buy you beer. You'll have a few beers. We'll get you into the boxes where you'll probably get even more bottles of beer, and photos and shakes and conversations and everything else while you're collecting money for the Royal Legion. So if you do bump into the guys over the weekend, remember they are going through your wallet. So just be warned that we want to try and make as much money as we can for the British Legion this year. We always do, but obviously there was no fans there last year, so they will be going hard as such. So we've done you with them, Midge, with Submariner. How long have you been serving in the Navy?
I'll be just over 31 years now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 31 years. So towards the tail end of my career, obviously.
Yeah, Bombers. I think Bombers 24 years.
Is it?
Yeah. I think a few of the guys will come up with HMS Collingwood are quite long serving. And then we go to Jake. Jake, how long have you been in the Army, fella?
16 years. Well, 15 years now. So
we've got quite a few. We'll have to add it up at the weekend when we're all there and see how many years military service we've got between everyone there, because I reckon it'll be a good few hundred years.
Oh yeah, easily. I mean, I'm bringing 2 guys up who have done at least on average about 30 years as well. So
it's madness.
Yeah. We, between the 3 of us, we've probably got about 80 or 90 years between us, so we're doing all right.
Yeah.
That's it. So Jake, you're the bugler. You've been a bugler now for a couple of years.
So I was I'm part of the Rifles. The Rifles Regiment. I now work for the Infantry Engagement Team. So what my job is I do all engagement and recruitment events for the infantry. I joined the Army back in 2006. Done my tours of Afghanistan while being in what we call rifle companies. So the salt of the earth sort of people. Then I went on to specialise as an assault pioneer, and our dual role ceremonially was bugles. So back in 2014, I went over to the bugles platoon, and been bugling ever since.
Because we had a guy who done the bugle from, I think he was from the Royal British Legion, wasn't he, one year? And you were there, and you come up and slip me a card and went, if you need a bugler, I can do it. And from there, we basically gone, right, we're the way, in case, a lot of people, don't realise that, it's the fans who organise. Basically, what I try and do with the military is, as much as possible, I try and involve serving Millwall fans, because I think there's probably no greater honour in the world to be able to perform or come on the pitch wearing the uniform, what you wear, with your heart and what you do for a living for this country. And it's a way that we can say thank you very much for your service. And to the club you love the most, to be able to be involved and tick two boxes at once. I think that's probably what I try and do with a lot. And this year, I think we've definitely got a hell of a lot of Millwall fans who are serving, especially from the Army boys. I think nearly every single one of them is Millwall and currently serving. So, I think just remember that when you see them come out on a pitch on Saturday, that they are one of your own. So I think Saturday's going to be full of a few surprises. We've got the most wreaths I think we've ever had laid. We're going to have a couple on the pitch, and then we're going to be laying even more at Coldblow Lane just before the start of the game. We're going to be having a presentation for the Gunner of the Year for HMS Collingwood, which is going to be presented by Brian King, Millwall legend. He will be presenting that, I think, probably about 2:30 on Saturday. And then I think everything else kicks off probably about 10 to 5 to around those. So I would suggest, if you are listening to this before and coming to the game, just get to the game slightly earlier on Saturday. It's a special day, and obviously it will be good. Jake, you're a Millwall fan. I can see the line in the background with obviously the Millwall Remembers flag to your.
Well, I've got to let Oxford know we're here, mate. So.
So, what are you making of the team so far this season? Then, I mean, ups and downs and wins and draws and not playing attacking football and everything else. What's your views on it all?
Look, I haven't been able to get to many games because obviously I've moved from Woolwich up to here, and there's a lot of stuff going on. But from what I'm seeing, we've not been doing great, but we're slowly building it back up again. Do you know what I mean? We're now fifth. When I last looked at it, eighth now. We're not far from a playoff position. And that's
seventh or eighth,
seventh or eighth. I'm pretty sure it's eighth, but forgive me if I'm wrong. I think we've got a good chance of it in the playoffs. Yet the attacking football's a problem. I think we're still building up. We're still building up that steam. I know we're at Christmas, and we always have this problem. And then after Christmas, we seem to pull it out of the bag. So let's see what we got.
Are you in or out camp, or not decided yet?
That's a big question, because at the moment, are we fouling under him? We're eighth. So how can we be fouling? Yeah, attacking football and all of that. Listen, everybody's the same. Whenever we watch something, we're always a brilliant manager until we're sat in the position. Now, at the moment, we're eighth. Yeah. So that's if he progresses us more, great. If we were down close to relegation, I'd be going, maybe we need to look at it, because at the end of the day, look at Neil Harris. He left the club at the right time when he'd done as much as he could. Do you know what I mean? Millwall legend, and he left. He had to leave the club that he loved at the right time because he knew it was. Now, I don't think it's the right time for our manager at the moment. Really don't. I think there's potentially a bit more he could give, but the moment he looks at it and goes, "There's nothing else I can give, and it's not changing," he needs to walk. But I'm definitely not in him going out yet.
Yeah, no, I'm not there. I said, look, give it to Christmas. See where we are at Boxing Day game, and then I'll make a decision then. But yeah, I mean, we're fairly positive on the podcast. To be fair, we're not over negative. We just look at it as as a wider picture and think that, you know, it's a process going on at the minute. The only thing we don't like is the fact that it keeps playing 5 at home, and, you know, realistically at Millwall, we need to see attacking football, because then the crowd comes alive, the crowd's on your side, and the players seem to really just suck that up and just perform completely different when we go attacking. The crowd's there, and it's a superb atmosphere. Have you ever been to Millwall before, Midge?
I haven't. No, I've never been down there.
Just to let you know, Midge is a Glasgow Ranger fan. Obviously, a big thing for you this week with Walter Smith's funeral. Massive legend for you up there. And obviously, Rangers has an affiliation with a lot of Millwall fans. There's a lot of Millwall fans what go to Rangers. But yeah, it must be a sad time for you guys at the minute.
Yeah, I sort of grew up with Walter Smith as the manager that dragged Rangers through the 9 in a row, all the way through that. He's been synonymous with Rangers for most of my life. I think when you look at the amount of cups and trophies that Rangers have won during my lifetime, I think he's attributed about 60% of them. He's a massive influence on everything, and an absolute gentleman. It was quite poignant. I was at work the other week when they announced his death on the Tuesday morning, and it was just after I think Alan McCoist had been holding the Talk Sport breakfast show, and it broke after that. And he came on, and it was one of those moments you're going to remember forever. You know, it felt like a day. It almost felt like somebody in your family. It was one of those moments you just stopped. So yeah, particularly poignant. You know, with the procession yesterday. So it's one of these things, and you know, I've got no doubt it's impacting the team at the moment. But we need to move on. We need to go over it. You know, he was there. It's done and dusted now. We'll remember him. We've got to move on because they're dropping points, and it will be all right. Yeah, but it was a. I don't think it was a shock to most, because we knew how ill he was anyway. It's always a shock when it comes. No matter what happens, it's always a shock when you hear that. So yeah.
No, that's it. We're going to bring in another member of the military family now, and you're on mute, by the way, Ian. And welcome yet another Millwall fan.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, fella.
Thanks. I'll have to apologise. I can't put my camera on because I'm driving back down from Scotland at the moment, but I just thought I'd join.
You know, that's fine. No worries.
I'm looking forward to Saturday. I think I've been for the last 3 remembrance games, and I see the boys on the pitch, and I thought I could do a bit of that this year since it's my last year in the army.
Well, that's it. You emailed me, and or you emailed the club, and the club forwarded it on to me, and basically said this fella. And the email went along the lines of, "I'm a Millwall fan. I'm in the last year of my service in the army, so it's my last chance. Is there any chance? I know it's late doors, but is there any chance I can get involved in Remembrance Day game?" And of course, we said yes. And you're now involved, mate. So tell us what you do, what you know, how many years you served, and obviously what you do in the army. Jake and Midge have obviously told the listeners what they do. I just wondered if you wanted to tell us what you do.
So I'm in the Royal Army Training Corps. I work with the Defence Recovery Capability in Colchester. So we run a residential course of guys who've been wounded, injured, or sick in service, and we help and rehabilitate them hopefully back to normal work. That's pretty much what I'm up to at the moment.
So that's quite that must be quite a tough role within the army. I mean, obviously, what's been over social media and that this week is obviously Brian Wood running a marathon every day for wounded soldiers. He's obviously, I think, raising money for the walking wounded, and raising money for them. But yeah, there must be a lot of satisfaction in what you do, seeing guys come in a bad way, and then you help get them back to as much normality as they can get to.
Yeah, that's right there. The reason I chose that career stream is because I'd seen people who had, come back from Afghanistan, etc., on tours that I'd gone, and then I think that's just I wanted to be part of that and get involved in the rehab and recovery capability. I'm tracking what Brian's doing as well. It's no mean feat trying to do that.
I run the London Marathon a couple of years ago on what was the hottest day ever, and that wasn't fun. To do a marathon every day for a month, and with no real break in between, apart from trying to get to sleep after running a marathon every day and the aches and pains and everything. I know he's got a great team behind him, and a massive shout out to that team behind him. But Brian is something else. That man, the determination and the mental strength that man's got is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, take my hat off to him.
If you don't know who Brian Wood is a holder of the Military Cross. There was a BBC docu-film made of his story. He's got a book. He's got a book out as well, what was made of that, which is called the film, or the show on BBC Two is called Danny Boy. And I think he was one of the last group or action soldiers to do a bayonet charge. I think he had come under enemy fire, and it was a very hard time. And if you haven't seen it, have a look at it, read his book, or just check him out on social media and just give him, wish him some good luck, because the man, for the month of November, is running a marathon, 26 miles every day. I think there's 365 or so soldiers' names he's running for who had sadly fallen in the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan. And today he run with a soldier's name, what means a lot to Millwall fans, Leo Callahan. So, he struggled a bit today, but he got through it and all that. So, you're obviously a Millwall fan. So we were just talking of the team currently, the ups and downs and everything else, and just wondered what your views are with it at the moment.
I'm in the raw-in camp still. I think our players are playing very, very well at the moment. Especially, I'm a big fan of Danny at the back. I'm big, Scotty Malone. I think we've got some really talented players at the moment. It's just been unfortunate that some of the opposition we've come up against has been pretty good. Like when we played Luton, that lad who scored both the goals was just a step ahead. I think commensurate to what we got. For example, Jeddah, one of our star players, and I think he's maybe a little bit too good for our league. Some other opposition, I've got players clearly who are very, very capable that have scored goals against us. I don't know what the stops are on that.
You're on mute, mate.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I do it every week, mate, so don't panic. I missed that last part. Did you say, what does Jake think?
I've been out to everyone.
No, I'm in the same camp. I don't, we're eighth. I don't. Anybody sitting there saying right out and everything like that. Yeah, okay. As me and Mick were saying, he doesn't play football that we're used to, but at the moment he's doing all right. Let's see after Christmas, because we always have this period before Christmas where we're doing, we're not doing so great, or we peak at Christmas, and then after Christmas we start letting ourselves down. At the moment, we're in the middle. So let's hope we peak and then get right in. Do you know what I mean? I think we need to be. He's throwing something new at the club, and I think as Millwall, we're not very used to that and having something new. But at the moment, we're doing all right.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're doing all right. Listen, he might not be playing the football we want, but you know what? He's a fucking 100 times better than Holloway. So you know what I mean? I just look at that for the, you know, if he starts getting to a degree like Holloway, I mean, he drives me mad with some of the comments. He drives us mad on the show with some of the comments and stuff. And, you know, when the lads went up to, where did they go the other day? Up to Stoke. Was it Stoke they went to the other day? Not Stoke. Where was it? Huddersfield. Yeah, that was it. I don't know why I come up with Stoke then. Stoke was, Huddersfield.
It's north of the river.
Yeah, it was, you know, it was one of those. And then you see us play against Reading, and it was like talking cheese. Do you know what I mean? It seems to be no game's the same at the minute with us, but you know, we will get there. We will get there. So yeah. So Saturday's going to be a big day for you boys. You are going to be there obviously early. You are going to sit there and come. I mean, I think all of you are coming with people, and obviously you're going to be mingling and all that. I mean, what are you looking forward to the most, I suppose, on Saturday? Well, I mean, more so for you, Jake. I mean, you just got to make sure you don't fuck up the bugle, mate.
Yeah. Cheers for that one, mate. You know, no pressure in that. The past couple of times I've done it, I've done all right. So you know, let's just hope I've got enough practice in this year. But you know, you know what? The past couple of times doing it, obviously last year we had no fans there. The year before, you could hear a pin drop when I was playing, and I could see that from the centre of the pitch. You could literally, I could hear the acoustics from that ground. And there was not one other noise but the sound of the bugle playing. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing when you've got 5,000 people being quiet, showing their respect and everything like that. It's you know, it's a beautiful thing. It's also scary because one slip note and everybody hears it. Do you know what I mean? So
I mean, Ian, you've been there and watched it, obviously, a few years on the trot and stuff. I mean, what's your opinion of what we do at Millwall? Obviously, you're a military man. And obviously, what's your view of it over the years you've watched it? And obviously, what are you looking forward to the most on Saturday?
A couple of things. First thing is raising awareness and making as much money as we can for RL, selling the poppies. And I've actually told my son that I have to go to work, so he doesn't know that I'm going to be on the pitch. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the expression on his face when he realises that I'm there.
I've got you. That's a nice thing. But this podcast goes out tomorrow on Friday, so just a word of warning: if you do know Ian and you do know his son, don't say a fucking bean.
No one else that we sit next to either knows that I'm in the army, because you make your pleasantries.
Yeah.
Next to you, but the only time you ever see them is that game.
Yeah. So that's going to be a shock as well when you go back in the stand in the uniform. They're going to go, But no, look, I don't think we've had. I think you guys get treated like royalty at the Den. I think you get a lot of beer brought for you throughout the day. You get shown utmost respect, and I think it's our opportunity as fans to be able to just say thank you. Thank you for the service you give. Thank you for everything you do, and it's just our way of giving a little bit back. It's never going to be, you know, the sacrifices what you and your colleagues have made over the years, but it's just something towards that where we just say thanks very much and, you know, enjoying us. And I have to say, hats off to the club, because the club this year have given us a hell of a lot of comp tickets for you guys and friends and family. They're putting you a couple of tables up in the exec lounge. They're giving you some food. They're giving you drink. And they're proper looking after you, which is fantastic. You know, and again, you know, I spoke about Billy earlier. You know, me and Billy haven't always seen eye to eye when I was fan on the board. There it is, the fan on the board tag for those of you playing that Millwall podcast bingo. I'd say it because Omar ain't here, but we've not always seen eye to eye. But when it comes to this, we pretty much agree with a lot of things. Things are going to be done differently this year to what you've seen at other clubs. There won't be a guard of honour from the soldiers for the players because we don't agree it needs to be done. We have got some things lined up. We have got some things planned. The crazy Navy man is here this year. Bomber is here. You've seen him, obviously, on a lot of the publication for Remembrance Day. The Army boys are very, very jealous that he's on the advertising and not one of them. But we have got a lot of the Army boys this year, so maybe the club photographer might use an image from one of you boys for going forward. But I don't know. Mitch, you still there?
I'm still here, mate. Yeah, I'm still here.
No, right. But look, I just want to say, look, thank you very much for all of you to join us. We are recording this on a Thursday night quite late, and it will be up Friday morning. But is there any message that you want to give or anything you want to say before we go? We'll start with you, Mitch. I mean, obviously, what's the average age of the guys you're bringing up on Saturday? And most of them, it's their first time at Millwall, isn't it?
Well, we're bringing one of the Chiefs up, who's a lifelong Millwall fan, Eddie. He will be there, and he's desperate. He's been a season book holder for a few years. His family originate in Bermondsey. He's a big Millwall fan. He's keen to get there.
He's your guy carrying your reef, isn't he?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. So he's a good age. I mean, he's 50 if he's a day. There's myself. I'm 47. Stevie, the one that's coming up, he must be 50. And there's a couple of youngers, maybe in their 30s. So there's no young crew there. Yeah. There are some juniors in terms of how long they've been in the service, but there's no young pups coming up. So yeah, we've got a good age, got a good spread of ages, but we're not a young team, put it that way.
So we got the Submariners reef being carried by the Millwall fan.
Yes.
We've got the Army guy carrying a Millwall reef is a Millwall fan. We've got Bomber carrying another reef and is a Millwall fan. And then we've got Danny O'Callaghan, who will be carrying a reef for Leo Callaghan, who's a Millwall fan who sadly passed away in 2004 on active service in Iraq. And obviously the guy whose bench is outside Millwall Stadium. Just one thing on the bench. This week, if you haven't seen the news, there's a chap on Hoff called T. And again, he'll probably hate me for saying this, but T registered that bench as an official war memorial just to see if it could be recognised. And this week, yesterday, the Imperial War Museum has now registered Lee's bench as an official war memorial. And I think we're probably one of a handful of clubs probably in the country with an official war memorial within our grounds, which is, you know, it's fantastic news that it's got that recognition, but on the same level, it's sad news that we haven't. So, yeah. Ian, you got any message you want to say or who you're coming with, or, you know, anything you want to do before we phone out?
No, just like support the Millwall fans, bring plenty of change. Come and get a coffee. And we look forward to seeing you down on Saturday.
Yeah, if you want a photo taken next to one of the serving personnel, they charge you 50 quid in the tip box, okay? So, Jake, so it's really down to you, fella.
Well, they're smashed Derby.
You could make or break it.
They smashed Derby. Let's get the extra 3 points. Just raise loads of money. Let's have a good day.
Do you know what? As much as it's Remembrance Day, how much, and Ian, you'll know this, how much dog shit abuse do you think Rooney's going to get?
Oh, 100%. Listen, I've restricted myself. I'm saving that all for down that end and giving it to him. So you know, how much can I give? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got to behave myself, but as soon as I disappear into that crowd,
I think there'd be a lot of abuse there. But look, my tip to you lot is, look, get in early, make sure you're in so you don't miss it. There is a presentation at half two with Brian King, and also Brian King will be there doing the book signings. And we've got a few things planned for the day. So, yeah, get there early, you'll see it all, and hopefully you enjoy it. And just remember, everything what raised on that day is going to the poppy collection. So all the poppies you buy, everything else will be going there. The club bits in the shop, all the poppy Remembrance Day stuff with the scarves and the key rings, etc. The profits from there are going to the Royal Legion. You can also get online, check out Millwall's website or Twitter feed, and there's a post on there where if you're interested in bidding for one of the match-worn shirts from Saturday with the poppies on, they'll be available online straight after the game, I think, or on Saturday after the game. And that's pretty much it, I think. Maybe we get you back on the show next week and just see how you made of it. But look, enjoy the day. You will be our guests, and you will be treated as guests. You won't find any hostility by our fan base. You'll be taken on board and welcomed into the Millwall family, as Jake will, tell you. And just enjoy the day, mate. Take it all in. Enjoy the memories. There will be loads of photos, no doubt. The club will probably be taking loads, and everyone else. So if you do take videos from the day or pictures or whatnot, then, if you can email them to us at info@thatmillwallpodcast, then obviously we can collate everything and share it amongst the squaddies and the Navy. One thing I will say before going, it's been an interesting WhatsApp chat with having a load of Army, a load of Navy. The banter is real. And I think no doubt there will be a competition on Saturday of Army versus Navy to see how much they can raise on there. So make sure that if you donate to one, you're going to have to donate to the other, and vice versa. But look, check out our socials as always. We are 2 shows a week. We are on YouTube. Please give us a 5-star if you enjoy our show across YouTube, across Spotify and YouTunes. That's it. We'll have the usual lot back on Sunday. And we've got a special guest joining us again on Sunday to do a match review. So, look, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you all on Saturday afternoon. So I'll speak to you all soon. But thanks for joining us tonight.
Been a pleasure, Micky. Thank you very much.
Let me just end